How do you feel after like more than 3 weeks in jail in Greenland?
Except when they take me to the basement for the flogging, it's okay. No, actually, this is a very decent place here. So, you know, aside from the fact that your freedom's restricted, there's really nothing to complain about as far as this prison is concerned. I've seen far, far worse. I mean, the window gives me a panoramic view of the fjord and the mountains and the whales and everything.
When you are seeing the whale outside from your cell, do you think that again it was worth it?
I think that to protect life and diversity and interdependence, that it's worth all of the risks that are required to take to achieve that. You know, if I can do something and that guarantees that a whale's life will be spared, that dolphins will be spared, that polar bears or caribou, whatever animal or species or habitat I'm focusing on, that it's worth all the risks in the world.
Maybe could you describe us a little bit the day you were arrested? What did you feel?
Well, I wasn't really, I didn't really think I would be arrested because my name is no longer on the Interpol red notice list. And that was, back in November, that was gone. It was taken off. I had lawyers checked into it, not there. So what Japan did was they issued a special red notice specifically to Denmark only. And so they knew that we were going to go through the Northwest Passage, we had to refuel in Greenland. So that's why they issued it to Denmark. So I was quite surprised when we came into Nuuk and suddenly 14 Danish police officers boarded. They were very aggressive. One of them came up to me and just grabbed me like this and pulled me out of the seat. And you know, they said, "We're here to arrest you." I said, "Well, what are you arresting me for?" And he said, "You'll find out." Pulled me off and handcuffed me and put me down, you know, walked me down to and put me into the car, and then brought me directly here.
So at this time you didn't know the reason why you were arrested for?
No, they didn't tell me.
Okay. So what was your guess at this moment? You were like,
well, the only thing I could think of was Japan had made a request. And they issued it not because of what I did, but because of what we were going to do, which was to intervene against the Kanji Maru, their new Japanese factory ship. So this specifically was to stop us from doing that. It's backfired on the Japanese because what was the objective of our Operation Kanji Maru? The objective was to focus international attention on Japan's ongoing illegal whaling operations and the launching of the Kanji Maru. Well, by arresting me, they did just that, focusing international attention on their continued illegal whaling operations. So we actually achieved what we set out to do. As you know, Bruce Lee once said, the ultimate form of fighting is the art of fighting without fighting. So we didn't even have to confront them to achieve our objective.
and yesterday there were your court hearing about you. We saw you arrived with the handcuff.
Ah! Fuck! There's no excuse for inflicting this kind of pain.
Mr. Wasson, for Vakita, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm in pain because of the way they put these handcuffs on. I just don't understand why they had to do that. Apparently, talking to some of the other prisoners here, they don't handcuff everybody. So apparently, I think it's more. It just shows once again the political nature of it. I mean, if they want to treat me as some sort of a terrorist, as the Japanese, continue to say that I am.
So you would say that if they put you some handcuff in your hand, it's more like for communication to show you as a criminal, a big criminal?
Yes, I think so. I think they're trying to portray me as some sort of dangerous criminal. In fact, the police officers who arrested me said that I was a dangerous terrorist, and that when they pulled me away.
How did you react when you heard that about the verdict? When you heard that you were spending 3 more weeks in jail?
Well, I just think that the judge in this case wasn't really interested in making a decision. The prosecutor seems to have, some sort of, I think to me this is a big case for her, and she wants to make her mark on it. That's all I can think. But I don't think any decision is going to be made in Greenland about this at all. It has to come from the Danish government.
So you didn't have any hope to be released yesterday?
No.
When you entered? Okay.
No. There's not much I can do about it. I have to accept that that's the way it is. But on the positive side, it continues to put pressure on exposing ongoing illegal Japanese whaling activities. And that's a good thing. So I have no problem with that at all. As long as I'm in here, people are going to be talking about what Japan has been doing illegally killing whales, the cruelty of the whale hunt, the illegality of the whale hunt.
Are you afraid sometime to be sent to Japan in maybe 3 weeks or more?
I would be extremely surprised if Denmark extradites me to Japan. Why would a country that has an incredible record of honoring human rights send me to a country that has a horrendous record of human rights, which is really basically a medieval form of justice? I have friends and former crew members who were arrested in Japan and were subjected to weeks and weeks of daily interrogation before they even get to court. And the purpose of those interrogations was to get a confession before they go to court. That's a barbaric approach to justice, which is not acceptable in most of the civilized world.
And since you were arrested, we heard a lot about you from your opponent. The word eco-terrorist. What do you think about this term?
Well, I'm not an eco-terrorist, so I never really understand that. I've never caused an injury to any person in my entire life. In 1977, I set up a strategy, which I call aggressive nonviolence. And what that means is to aggressively intervene, but to make sure we don't cause any injury to any person, and we never have. We have an unblemished record of never causing a single injury to a single person. How could I possibly be a terrorist on that? I think the word terrorist is now being used very liberally to really as a name to call anybody you disagree with. If you hold up a protest sign in front of a company, now you're a terrorist. If you boycott something, now you're a terrorist. I mean, they've actually taken the meaning of the word completely out of context, so it's almost becoming a meaningless thing. I mean, how can you take that seriously when you're equating somebody who blows up a building and kills hundreds of people with somebody who's holding up a protest sign? I mean, there's something very, very much wrong with that.
What would you say if you had the Japanese government just in front of you?
Well, what I would say to the Japanese government is, come on, let's abide by international conservation law, respect the law, and stop being so petty in your desire for revenge. I think that my children need me more than the Japanese need to seek revenge on me. I mean, what do they hope to achieve by that? They want to take me away from my children so that they can parade me around in Japan as a trophy to support their illegal whaling activities and say, look, obviously the world agrees with us because they turned him over to us to punish, and therefore what we're doing is right.
I know there is like a small chance, but there is a chance that I might be the last journalist you will talk with. What would you say to the world if there were the last time you could talk to a media?
I have one very important message, and that is we have to do everything in our power to protect life and diversity and interdependence in the ocean. And if we don't, we're not going to survive. We do not live on this planet with a dead ocean. And therefore that must be the ultimate priority for every single human being, is to protect that diversity, that interdependence. It has to be our ultimate priority. I always ask my crew, are you willing to risk your life to protect a whale? And people would think, well, that's asking an awful lot, to ask somebody to risk their life to protect a whale. But we ask young people all the time to risk their life, to give their life for real estate and flags and religion. I think it's a far more noble pursuit to risk your life to protect an endangered species or a threatened habitat. And that's where I think we really have to refocus our priorities. What is really important? What is really important is the security of our planet, and that security is dependent upon diversity and interdependence.